Hi guys, my name is Jillian Daniels, and this is my final project for SPA 425. If you hear snoring in the background, it is my dog. He's just napping away. All right, so my group had El Retablo de las Maravillas by Miguel de Cervantes, and modernizing Cervantes's work was challenging. The entire point of his play was to highlight the absurdity of society. It was very satirical. The main concept was the ignorance of society when it came to blood purity labels like Judaism, Christianity, Islamic lineage. In modern times, I like to believe no one cares about your blood and whether you have Jewish heritage or if you're an old Christian in general. It's not entirely associated with the social class ladder either. I definitely needed to think of a human factor that would cause people to lie, cheat, and kill. And that would be survival. Now, I may have gone too far when it came to this modernization, but this is how my brain works, and I'm going to roll with it. What is more modern than a full-blown, flesh-eating apocalypse? What's more modern than a zombie thriller? In the past 20 years alone, there have been hundreds, if not thousands, of zombie apocalypse content. Thankfully, I was given the last section of Cervantes' play, the sixth section. This intense scene was perfect for adding zombies to the mix. Cervantes specifically wrote this to be seen on a stage, and even though Broadway is a really big part of modern culture right now, I did not want to go that route. If I'm going to modernize this play, then I'm modernizing it into a film format. And when it came to the language, it was far too outdated. Obviously, I used the English language because I see Robert Rodriguez directing this film. I love his films, and most of his films are in English, so I just kind of went with that. Plus, it is my native language, so it made writing stuff a little bit easier. I updated the general idea of each character's lines. I also added more detail to the stage directions to help the reader imagine the film setting. I added more actor directions to the dialogue for the exact same reason. I deepened the emotion of each character and in general added more depth and personality to the cast. Now let's check out the cast. The film is called Eat Me, Drink Me. Jillian Daniels presents Eat Me, Drink Me, directed by Robert Rodriguez. Coming to theaters fall 2022. Oh, yes. Okay. So the con men, we have Gary Oldman portraying Killian, who was Champala. Frances McDormand as Clarice, or sometimes nicknamed Clary, as Chirinos. And we have Nicholas Hoult as Robbie, who was Rovelin. And in this scenario, they're a husband, wife, and son. The people of this town named Exodus. We have the governor, who goes by Gov, played by Damian Bichir. We have Pedro Capacho, who is just called Pedro, and he's the mayor's right-hand man. He is played by Michael Peña. And we have Javier Bardem, who is Rodrigo, nicknamed Drigo, who is the mayor, originally Benito Repollo. The people of Exodus, and this is specifically for part 6, in which I'm modernizing. So Benito's nephew, I gave him a name. His name's Gavin, and he's played by Xolo Meredueña. And I butcher this poor woman's name every time I say it. I've used her in other projects for class. I love her. Diane Guerrero. I'm so sorry. Originally, it was Juan Strado, who was an alderman, but I switched it. And she is playing Jovi. And instead of an alderman, she kind of handles the town's supplies. So we have the outsiders. The Furrier is now Fernando, and he's played by Alfonso Herrera. And instead of the militia that the Furrier it kind of is in command over, they're called the peacekeepers. And they don't really have any lines at all, but I obviously had to cast Danny Trejo, Michelle Rodriguez, Macy Williams, and Ezra Miller, because why not? So the setting of part 6 and of the entire work in general, but just specifically my part 6, is a post-apocalyptic zombie town named Exodus. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, America. It's surrounded by farmland, very overgrown like this. And the location of the entirety of part 6 is an abandoned theater in the post-apocalyptic town Exodus. Background of modernization. So this section of the Proyecto Final will include background information on this modernization. I feel it's important for you all to understand the background of the story itself, to understand the characters, scenery, and my modernized adaptation is section 6, which you will read below, which I'll read out to you. To start off, it's post-apocalyptic America. The world is a remnant of what it used to be, but people never change. That's the truth. There's a small town in the middle of nowhere that was named Exodus. There lives a small group of people trying to survive. The surrounding populace remains the walking dead. The man in charge of this town is called Gov. He's a charismatic and genuine person who, to be frank, is completely inept to run a town. He relies heavily on his second in command, Rodrigo, who's nicknamed Rodrigo, who labels the mayor of Exodus, who he labels the mayor of Exodus. Almost a year prior to current events, a group of veteran status survivors discovered the town of Exodus. The Gov invited them in generously. He could tell they knew how to survive and hoped they would guard the town and teach its citizens the new rules of life. This group comprises of Fernando and the Peacekeepers. Now, Peacekeepers is a nickname coined to them by Rodrigo, the mayor, who genuinely despises their presence. A few months ago, prior to current events, a deranged husband and wife, along with their son, traveled across the apocalyptic wasteland. They've concocted the perfect idea of survival and are plotting to put it to good use. Killian patented a gross concoction of roadside herbs and expired foods and masterfully disguised it in a little glass bottle. He labeled it the elixir of death. Now, what does the snake oil entail? They say it keeps the creepy crawlers away from you. It's a glorified zombie repellent. But the truth is, it's a complete and total lie. Just gross, viscous juice in a dirty bottle. They've been watching Exodus for a while now, sending in their son, Robbie, to scavenge for supplies. They need to make sure these people are safe so they can test out their plan of survival. After a month and a few weeks, they struck. They dressed Robbie up as a decaying zombie, their little pet. They sold themselves to the leaders of Exodus. The mayor, Rodrigo, practically rolled out a red carpet to them. They made their debut to the town the next day. Clarice, the wife, nicknamed Clary, handed out the little glass bottles with a heavy display of Southern charm. In the abandoned theater in town, Killian showed the wondrous effects of the zombie repellent with Robbie, acting as a zombie, to the crowd. Most of the citizens of Exodus ate it up. They drank all their bottles and gained confidence and hope. Their need to survive outweighed their logic. Most of these people have watched their loved ones die. They've seen their friends reanimate before their eyes. Gov was still a little unsure whether the elixir of death worked, but Rodrigo was pleased, and that was enough for him. But Rodrigo didn't care if it worked or not, but the idea of a cure or repellent, a camouflage from the undead, it was an opportunity for control. That means more people will flock to Exodus, and simply more people mean more power and control. But Fernando and the Peacekeepers saw right through Killian and Clarice. They knew people like them from the rest of the wasteland. They lie, cheat, and manipulate for survival. There were They were concerned for the people of Exodus and expressed these concerns to Gov. But once again, no matter how much he appreciated and liked Fernando, he was siding with Rodrigo on this one. Okay. Here is background information on the start of Section 6. Nights like this were dangerous. There's an aggressive thunderstorm, and the lightning is grasping for anything to electrify. The abandoned theater in town is asking for trouble. It had been about a week since Killian and Clarice showed up with their bottle of camouflage. Town started to become overly confident and sloppy. They decide to let loose at the theater, fire up a generator, and crank some tunes. They turn on the lights and dance, releasing their apocalyptic stress. For once, they're hopeful for the future. Fernando and the peacekeepers realize a massive herd of zombies are on their way, plowing down the cornfields surrounding Exodus. They devise a plan. Each member takes a vantage point on the theater. They're going to help the citizens escape to safety. Fernando heads through the theater entrance to safely escort the survivors out. Fernando and the peacekeepers surround the building. They worry that the sound will attract the impending horde of zombies. They need to shut down this event and get to the bottom of what's going on. The lightning cracks, rain pours down. Fernando enters the building alone. Fernando. Hey, where's the Gov? Witnesses a very loud and bright gathering. And what the hell is going on here? Gov hears his name, moves towards Fernando. Oh, Fernando! Finally joining us, or are you here for something else? Fernando. I'm here. We're here to stop this. Looks confused. Party? This is too much. You're making too much noise, too much chaos. You're attracting the attention of the dead. They're on their way through the cornfields. The peacekeepers are outside. They can help you all get out, but we need to do this now. Right now. Gov appears worried and looks at Rodrigo for guidance. Fernando leaves Gov and peeps his head outside. He wants to keep an eye on the horde of zombies and make sure the peacekeepers are safe. Rodrigo pressures the Gov. Oh, he is such a liar, Gov. He didn't come here to help us. He came here to stop us. It's a test. Like Killian and Clary told us about. People like him test people like us. The strong versus the weak. Killian gets a little nervous that trouble may be ahead. Uses tension to advantage. Well, Drigo, you do run this town. I mean, they say they are the peacekeepers, but seems to me they just want trouble. Rambling on about the dead roaming about. Are we sure they're not these little rats running about that's been causing you problems of late? References stolen supplies. Sorry, I'm sorry. I messed up. I coughed instead of scoffed. Scoffs. Warn us of the dead? Seems a concern of the past now. Ever since you two came into our town with your little pet zombie, you've shown us the way. You've helped our community more than Fernando and the Zoidido peacekeepers. Gives order to his men. Don't let them back in. We don't like rats at our parties. Killian. Well, Mr. Mayor looks at Clarice. He worries that zombies are actually on their way, and they may all die. Maybe we can take a look for ourselves, see if we are in danger. A quick peek wouldn't hurt nothing. He grins. Rodrigo. Getting annoyed at the lack of control. Did you not hear a word I said? My orders? They're rats. Every last one of them. Shut them out. Pedro talks to Rodrigo, but he looks at Gov's worried face. Listen, Drigo, I'm your right-hand man. You give me an order, I listen. But we know what these zombies do. Shouldn't we just look outside or try to be quiet just in case? Rodrigo appears extremely annoyed. Go look if you want. But we're not going anywhere. And if you try to get us to leave, I'll kill you myself. Fernando comes back inside with more information on the impending doom. Fernando, are you all ready to leave? Please. We don't have much time left. They're coming. Rodrigo, his mental state snaps. Fine. You want to run this town, Fernando? Be my guest. Killian, Clary, let them in. Let them all in. Open the doors. Let the dead come in and party with us. If we're really immune, if we're really untouchable, he laughs. Let the devil try and ring the dinner bell on us. Rodrigo makes his way towards the front doors of the abandoned theater. Killian looks physically worried. Is this a joke, Mr. Mayor, or is this a threat? Clarice motions towards Robbie to stay near the back door sneakily. Mr. Mayor, just because we are immune doesn't mean we want the dead to party with us. I reckon they're awfully smelly. Maybe we can continue tomorrow when the dead are dead. No need for threats. Churns up the southern charm. We're all just here to have a good time. Tosses another elixir to the townsfolk, helping these fine folks. Rodrigo ignores Clarice. Let's just watch this scene in front of our eyes. The truth will be revealed, whispers to himself. Fernando is no liar. He's a rat. He's no protector. I am. Gov, insecure with what's going on, tries to calm situation down. Maybe Fernando is telling the truth. Maybe we really aren't safe, Drigo. Fernando faces Clarice and Killian, gains frustration. What lies did you sell them? What poison did you make them drink? Snap out of it, you idiots. This is your life. Jovi, hey, we aren't idiots. And you know what, Fernando? I'm so sick of you telling us what to do all the time. Gov runs this town, and Drigo. So you know what? This is Rodrigo. Go for it, Drigo. Let's him in. Killian uses the tension of the group to his advantage. You drank the truth, and it's gonna set you free. It will set you all free. Our little pet here, he points to Robbie, hasn't heard a fly. You can dance with him cheek to cheek, he laughs, swinging his wife in for a dance demonstration. Coos. Gavin laughs along too. There was a pretty one out there in the cornfield earlier. I may go try to swing dance with her, eh, Uncle? Cracks himself up. Rodrigo. Of course, my nephew. Go bring one in. Dance with it. Show Fernando and his rats the truth. That we don't need them. He laughs. Fernando. What? I don't have time for this. Pleads. We need to leave. You people aren't safe. Whatever Clary and Killian sold you, whatever bullshit you drank, it's a lie. They're lying. And the dead are coming. Are you all insane? Pedro looks at Robbie, a calm zombie. He looks back at Fernando. He looks at his friends and family surrounding him. They're all so sure and hopeful. He needs to have faith. We'll just let a couple in, Fernando. No big deal. Let's see what happens. Starts to think. I'm just confused on why you want us to leave the theater so badly. Wait. Finally catches on. The rats they keep talking about, it's you guys? Fernando. Why do I want you guys to leave so badly? He lets out a defeated laugh. You're in danger. All of us. Zombies? Confused. And rats? What do you mean rats? Pedro believes the false narrative. He shakes his head. Bastardos. You're one of them. One of the outsiders who's been stealing our supplies. It was you guys all along. Gov looks at Rodrigo for confirmation. Believes too. You were doing this the entire time. You bastards. You knew this was a cure. You knew that this would keep us safe. The mayor and I practically rolled out the welcome wagon to you and your group. We fed you, housed you, gave you roles in this community, and you were stealing from us this entire time? Physically upset. What else have you done? Jovi shakes head in disbelief. Peacekeepers aren't even outside. They're probably ransacking our food, our supplies. Again! I've been keeping tabs on all the supplies going missing. It's enough to feed a group your size. The peacekeepers? More like glorified rats. You are no better than the dead out there. Scoffs. Talks to the residents. They're probably wanting us to leave so they can steal these elixirs from us. Fernando. Rats? Rats? Are you kidding me? He scoffs in disbelief. Why would we steal from you? Our supplies started to be stolen when Clary and Killian came into this town. They're the ones who've been stealing, not us. Come on, people. Pleads like his life depended on it. Use your brains before they're taken from you. Pedro gets worried over the growing tension and doesn't want Rodrigo to hurt anyone. Enough! Just everybody calm down. Fernando, you need to leave. Take your people and go. Leave us. We've done enough damage here. Rodrigo stares directly at Fernando, grins at the witness of his character defamation with dead eyes. You came into this town not too long ago, trying to play good cop, Fernando. We had a great town without you. Then Killian and sweet Clarice came in, allowing us freedom, giving us safety. And you know what you brought, Fernando? Danger, doubt, division. We're untouchable. And you're mad that we did it without you. So get out of my way and let's put this to the test. Rodrigo sucker punches Fernando to the ground. He immediately moves towards the front doors. He swings them open. He dons a crazed grin across his face. He loses his mind from the idea of absolute control. Control over the cure, control over the people, control over the town. He meets the horde of zombies at the door. Lightning strikes. Again, breaking down their generators. All the lights and music in the theater cease. The dead start to swarm inside the theater. At first, they pass Rodrigo, and he laughs maniacally. He truly believes he is immune now. A beacon of ultimate power. He now controls life and death. But no, the darkness hides him. His laugh gives him away, though. They rip into his flesh. They swarm him and tear into others. Fernando. No! He scrambles on his feet, finds a counter to stand on top of, gains ground from the dead. Peacekeepers! Help us! He yells for his team. No response. Rodrigo quickly dies. He shouts into the crowd, I'm immune! I'm untouchable. His insanity dies with a gurgle of his chewed throat. Fernando panics. Everyone get out! Get out of here! You were wrong! You're not safe! You bastards! Use the back door! Go, go, go! Fernando lets off rounds of bullets. He tries to protect the people of Exodus. The bloodbath. Lightning strikes again. Sounds of screaming almost mutes the sound of the dead feasting on flesh. After a few minutes, the lights flicker back on. Fernando looks around at the bodies surrounding him. Jovi, the Gov, even Gavin, hey kid, Pedro. He saw innocent people, their lifeless bodies. These people just wanted to feel safe, and he felt like he killed them. He didn't protect them. He didn't protect the peacekeepers either. He looks at the metaphorical blood on his hands. His eyes look at his gun. He doesn't care that the dead have broken down the doors. He doesn't care that they're starting to rip into his flesh. No. He takes a deep breath and pulls the trigger. He dies. Clarice and Killian look at each other after Fernando killed himself. They both look at Robbie. The scene in front of them was intense. All these deaths were on their hands. Dead feasting on the town, stragglers still coming inside. Did they feel guilty? Did they feel responsible? Clarice turns to Killian and speaks. Averts blame. The devil did this, you know. We were just trying to survive. But these people, they just wanted to take, and that's why the dead came. Killian. Extraordinary. This has been successful, hasn't it? He looks around the theater of carnage, stays silent for a few seconds. This plan of ours, it worked. He grins and laughs maniacally. These people played themselves and now they're fools. Dead fools. But practice makes perfect, am I right? It's survival of the fittest, you know. And like rats, we feast. They sneak out of the abandoned theater as the dead take over, loading into a junk car behind the building. Killian lighting a cigarette. Clarice folding out a blood-stained map. Robbie curled up in the back seat. Clarice points to a new town. They drive away into the night, leaving Exodus. The end! Thank you so much for listening. I got a little too into it. Sorry if it was cringy. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, comes to theaters in fall 2022. All right, thank you. Adios.